Now at 10 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, new details on the suspect in the Lisbeth Medina murder case. A Port Lavaca man is now a suspect in a Victoria County case. And the latest on a murder mystery in San Antonio involving a pregnant woman.
It didn't feel like Christmas the other day with Christmas Eve being 75. This might make it feel a little like Christmas, even though Christmas is over. We'll talk all about it, but first, here's Zach.
Texans fans, will you get your quarterback back? Stick around, I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia has the night off. The suspect in the death of Lisbeth Medina was living with two siblings and his parents in a mobile home in Schulenburg. 25 News now obtained the December 11th affidavit and complaint for a warrantless arrest in this capital murder case. Rafael Romero was on probation for a felony burglary conviction. He'd lived in the Schulenburg area for at least 5 years. The affidavit said numerous items belonging to Lisbeth were found in Romero's bedroom, connecting Romero to her murder. Romero remains at the Jackson County Jail in lieu of $2 million bond. More information is on our website, CrossroadsToday.com. A Port Lavaca man is now in the Victoria County Jail. 31-year-old Jonathan Cuellar was taken into custody Wednesday on a charge of engaging in organized criminal activity. No bond has been set. A husband and wife were arrested Tuesday in Yoakum, but they are now in different county jails. 59-year-old Calvin Williams was arrested, charged with engaging in organized criminal activity. He also faces a credit card abuse charge from August. Williams is in the Lavaca County Jail in lieu of $75,000 bond. Williams was taken into custody while he was in a vehicle with his wife, 43-year-old Lori Jimenez. At that time, in the DeWitt County part of Yoakum, Jimenez gave false information about who she was to a police officer. That charge was added to 3 other charges against her, including engaging in organized criminal activity. Jimenez is in the DeWitt County Jail in lieu of $69,000 bond. Let's take a first look at your forecast. In for First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis, here's meteorologist Howie Gordon. Howie, great afternoon and morning today, and now with the sun down, the temperatures are down too.
Yeah, Don, we've had some fantastic December weather the last week or so, but some of the nights, yes, getting on the chilly side. We have that cool, dry air sinking down from the north, lack of cloud cover to hold that heat in, and this is the result. We could see some spots out there flirting with the low 30s or freezing temperatures at 32, 31, and 30 degrees. So our coolest nights of the season so far, overnight tonight and overnight tomorrow night, but then we will start to warm up just in time for the weekend, but we'll cool down again. But here we go. So 36 overnight. We'll warm up, then we'll have another cool down. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit, Don.
Howie, thank you. A 20-month-old toddler has been killed after being run over in El Paso Tuesday afternoon. Police say 20-year-old Brian Eduardo Acosta Rodriguez left his home in a van, but returned because he left something behind. During an exchange with his wife, police say the couple's toddler left the home. That's when Rodriguez reportedly drove off and unintentionally ran over the baby. Police say he immediately called 911 for help and began rendering aid. However, after being taken to the hospital, the child later died. Loved ones are mourning the loss of 6 family members killed in a car crash in North Texas. Meanwhile, a 7th family member is still fighting for his life.
She's very much interested into painting. She used to draw a lot.
The last painting.
Each and every painting things as a Christmas gift. All the things he just bought for her.
From one dreamer to another.
He used to think always about tomorrow, not about today.
Always looking ahead and always putting family first.
It's so hard to take, like, he's my half. He's my half.
Returning from a family visit to Fossil Rim in Glen Rose, 28-year-old Rachel Bari was driving along US 67 when another vehicle hit his car head-on.
One of my friend is his emergency contact in his iPhone. She got a notification saying that Rachel's iPhone got crashed.
Bari's cousin Lokesh was visiting from Georgia with his son and daughter, who were 9 and 10, his wife and his wife's parents visiting from India.
One of the eyewitness over there took the phone of Lokesh, and she picked and she told that the accident was very bad, few were dead, and the owner of this phone is still breathing.
The 17-year-old driver and passenger in the other car are in critical condition, but 6 of the 7 people in Rashil's car died, including Rashil.
Just in one family, they lost 5 members. It's like, I don't even know what to say on that.
I can't digest him. He's no more.
Rakesh, Rashil's brother, and Ayapala, his roommate, are working with Telugu Association of North America.
Our main target is to reunite the lost loved ones with the families back home.
To India, where the dream began.
He told that let's party on first, let's celebrate New Year and let's get into this new year with the new dreams and new hopes. I'm like, yeah man, let's do that, come back soon.
That organization has been in contact with the Embassy of India to plan how to ship the bodies back to India. Bari's friends are also planning to start a GoFundMe campaign for help. People in parts of North Texas have expressed concerns for their safety after that deadly wreck. The crash happened Tuesday afternoon near County Road 1119 and Highway 67. A pickup truck and minivan collided head-on, killing 6 people. Residents near the highway say that road sees multiple vehicle crashes. Those who use the road daily want more to be done to prevent serious crashes. Savannah, an 18-year-old pregnant woman who was reported missing by her family when she did not show up at the hospital to be induced, died from a gunshot wound to the head. KSAT reports the Bexar County Medical Examiner says Soto's death was reported as a homicide. Soto was found dead in a car with her boyfriend, 22-year-old Matthew Guerra, Tuesday afternoon outside a San Antonio apartment complex. Authorities said it appeared as if the bodies had been there for 3 or 4 days. There is a new lead into the deaths of that pregnant 18-year-old and Matthew Guerra. Police released surveillance video today to get the public's help in identifying 2 people. The video shows a pickup truck and a Kia Optima drive up next to each other. The driver of the pickup interacts with the driver of the Kia. The Kia Optima belonged to the victim. The vehicle the 2 victims were found dead in.
Right now are combing through days of surveillance video from several different locations that the victims were known to be, where the victims were known to be. Detectives are hopeful that surveillance video will lead to the events leading up to their death.
The video is from a few days before the discovery of the bodies. Police are not dismissing the possibility the killing may have taken place somewhere else, and then the bodies were driven to the parking lot and left there. Detectives are still going through other surveillance video in the area. Harris County deputies have identified the suspect in a standoff that shut down the Interstate 10 East Freeway in both directions on Wednesday. KTRK reports authorities identified the driver as Trinidad Cutshall and said he will be charged with felony evading. The dramatic standoff caused traffic backups for several hours. Officers used gas, non-lethal weapons, and even a canine to try and get him out. When all that did not work, a tactical team pulled him out. Cutshall suffered cuts on his face during the standoff and arrest. Just 1 day after buses brought asylum seekers to the city of New York, another group of buses was expected and came in Wednesday night. In the past month, nearly 15,000 migrants have arrived in New York. 7,200 asylum seekers getting to the Big Apple in the past 2 weeks. 68,000 are currently in city shelters. New York City's mayor is taking steps to reduce the number of migrants arriving in his city. The executive order signed by Eric Adams on Wednesday will require bus companies to provide details about people they are transporting. They will be required to give 32 hours notice before their arrival. The executive order will also require charter bus companies to drop off asylum seekers in Manhattan only between 8:30 a.m. until 12 p.m. Monday through Friday. Those that don't comply will face a Class B misdemeanor. A caravan of migrants headed toward the U.S.-Mexico border appears to have dwindled. Also, senior U.S. and Mexico leaders say talks over illegal border crossings have been productive. The talks focused on developing better programs to encourage legal entry to the U.S. and curb illegal activity like smuggling or trafficking. More than 7,000 migrants had been taken into custody on Wednesday, but that's down from early December when some days had more than 10,000 migrant apprehensions. Mexican leaders plan to visit Washington, D.C. in January to continue talks with Biden's cabinet. The Matagorda Bay Channel expansion project continues to encounter many setbacks. Periodic errors discovered in the first environmental study have led to a major slowdown in the project, but once finished, the new and improved channel will improve capacity at the port.
Army Corps of Engineers began a supplemental environmental study to evaluate the environmental impacts of the proper arithmetic of the amount of spoil and sediment that would be removed to deepen and widen the channel.
The completion of the Corps of Engineers study was set back from the end of 2024 to mid-2025. Once approved, the deeper and wider channel will help bring a multi-billion-dollar boost to the region's economy. Diversity offices on college campuses in Texas will soon become illegal as 30 new laws are set to go in effect. You can read this Texas Tribune story on our website, crossroadstoday.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. Nikki Haley is doing damage control over the comments she made about the American Civil War. Also ahead, a Christmas ice storm in some parts of North Dakota has left many neighborhoods without power. GOP presidential candidate Nikki Haley yesterday declined to say slavery was a cause of the Civil War, instead arguing that it came down to the role of the government. At a New Hampshire town hall, a voter bluntly asked Haley what caused the Civil War. Haley did not mention slavery as the primary cause of the war, and when pressed about the comment, Haley had asked, quote, "What do you want me to say about slavery?" unquote, before moving on to the next question. This morning on a radio station, she reacted to her comments. She said the war had been about slavery, but she said her comment meant what did the war mean for today, and that it meant freedom. Colorado has put former President Donald Trump back on its primary ballot for 2024, but Maine's top election official has removed Trump from that state's 2024 primary ballot. The decision in Maine is based on the 14th Amendment's insurrectionist ban. Maine Secretary of State Shenna Bellows, a Democrat, issued her decision Thursday. It came after she presided over an administrative hearing about Trump's eligibility for office earlier this month. Thursday's decision can be appealed in state court, and it's all but assured that Trump's side will challenge it. Getting children to get their full night's rest can be a bit of a challenge. However, them getting a few extra Z's could be a benefit to their health.
Ugh, the dreaded sound of the alarm clock. We've all been there before. Pressing snooze a few too many times and feeling like we barely got any sleep at all. Many kids feel the same way. Even sleeping 39 fewer minutes a night could be bad for kids' physical and mental health. That's according to researchers in New Zealand. The negative effects were amplified when kids were even more sleep deprived. It's a vicious cycle. Kids slept worse when they were already sleep deprived. Parents can help kids practice good sleep hygiene by sticking to the same bedtime, removing electronic devices from the bedroom, and avoiding large meals before bed. With this Medical Minute, I'm Rachel Bade, ABC News.
Thousands remain without power in parts of North Dakota after a strong Christmas ice storm. Unfortunately for some, it may not be fully restored until the weekend or even next week. Cass County Electric says an estimated 500 power poles are down, and it's going to take time to get them all fixed. Employees from 8 other power cooperatives in western North Dakota and Minnesota are in the area helping out.
We continue to have new problems that arise. So we'll fix one area and another problem shows up in another area. So time, it's going to take a lot more time than we originally thought. Our entire crews have been out working. We have a lot of support staff out there doing assessments.
Electric companies had this warning about those using a generator. Don't use them indoors or in partially enclosed areas like inside homes or garages. And make sure to turn them off and let them cool down before refueling. They also say to never plug generators into a wall outlet. This puts utility workers, you, and your neighbors at risk of electrocution. As the New Year's holiday approaches, we checked to see if any ride-share possibilities were available and found few had been available. So for your viewer poll tonight, we want to know, do you have a designated driver plan this holiday weekend? Yes, no, you don't drink alcohol, or you plan on staying home. Those are the options. Let's look at the votes. Yes, 7%. No, 30%. I don't drink alcohol, 25%. Staying home, 30%. We thank you for voting.
100% wear socks and maybe an extra blanket tonight, because yeah, it's going to be a chilly one. We'll talk about it in just a moment. All right, we've been talking about it, Don and I, back and forth. It was warm, then it gets cold overnight. Okay, so cool nights and mornings, warmer this weekend, and then we cool down for next year. Next year, obviously, just a couple days away with the New Year's holiday and New Year's Eve coming up. So we're at 63 degrees today, a little bit below our average is 66. We've been as warm as 83 back in 1921. So I think it's felt absolutely fantastic during the day. It's just at nighttime that begins to feel a little like Christmas. Now, I've explained it a million times. We'll continue to do it some more. High pressure came down, pulling the colder, drier air from the north, that's sinking air down. And what does that mean? It really eliminated cloud cover. So it allowed the sun to warm us in the day, but then at night, all that heat escapes into the upper atmosphere and we start to cool down, and we could be seeing temperatures in the 30s. Again, low-lying areas, places the farthest from the water, yeah, we might see some spots drop down to 33, 32, 31, below freezing conditions. So yes, going to be a chilly night. Really, overnight tonight, overnight tomorrow night, our chilliest nights and mornings of the season. The daytime's not too bad. We're getting into the 60s, low 60s. The thing is, later in the week, we're going to warm back up into the upper 60s and into the 70s for a brief minute. But let's go right now. Dew points. So low moisture levels, that means that heat escapes into the atmosphere, and thus we're going to see those cooler temperatures. Okay, so high pressure. High pressure moved in after that front from a couple of days ago. It's moving out, but then high pressure continuing to move in, really helping to eliminate those clouds even further. So without that cloud cover, the sun is free to heat us up. But the thing is, it doesn't have a good head start because it's chasing temperatures in the 30s, trying to get us up there, because at nighttime, this heat escapes into the atmosphere. The sun's not strong enough this time of year to really change us up or warm us that much. It's doing a good job. It got us into the 70s just the other day. But, you know, in the summertime, really the sun will heat us, but all this air gets displaced. Now this time of year, what we rely on really is the warm air from the south to move up, and that is going to happen a couple days from now. The high is going to continue to slide off. That warm, moist Gulf air comes in. Then we get back into the upper 60s and the 70s. But as I mentioned, just really for a quick cup of coffee, because as we warm up over the weekend, then this boundary is going to drop back down, and this cooler air is going to come in. That is going to knock us back down temperature-wise. And then as the moisture continues to build in the area, we're looking at rain chances then probably Tuesday, Wednesday, or January 2nd and January 3rd. For our marine forecast, here is what we have. Water around 61 now. We're looking at 20 knots for our winds. Seas 2 to 3. But as I mentioned, you know, we've been kind of turbulent for a couple of days, so still the bays are going to stay on the choppy side. We'll be in the 40s this evening. Right now we're at about 43. Overnight, though, into the mid-30s. And then again, I keep harping on it, but those far outlying areas, low-level areas, yeah, you could see temperatures go to 32 or even below that. Now for tomorrow, here's what we got. 61 degrees and sunny. I like that. That'll feel good with the lighter winds. And looking ahead to the rest of the week, New Year's Eve day, 74, very similar to Christmas Eve day. Then the boundary comes in very similar, and hey, knocks us down about 10 to 15 degrees. And then as that moisture continues to build in the area, look what happens. Yeah, we got some rain chances next year. For more weather, news, and sports, you go to our app. That's at crossroadstoday.com. That is free with any Android and iPhone. And Zach was laughing at me about talking about that weather next year.
Well, we're not laughing about this. A classic finish in the Victoria Classic for the West Warriors. Stick around. I'll have that in sports. Well, last night in NRG Stadium, the Oklahoma State Cowboys taking on the fighting Texas A&M Aggies, and it was all Okie State looking for the dagger early in the second half. But going to take a look at this. This is former Shiner Comanche Dalton Brooks with a fantastic interception, just what the doctor ordered. They would punch it in from a few yards out on the ensuing possession. Now, Oklahoma State would go on and get the win 31-23, but Dalton Brooks, in addition to that pick, had 4 tackles. El Campo's Ruben Owens averaged a tick under 4 yards a carry, also had a 17-yard kick return. So 2 area stars looking to make an even bigger stamp in College Station next year. We know who else is playing at NRG Stadium this week. The Houston Texans taking on the Tennessee Titans. And it's a great time to be a Houston Texan. Andre Johnson just named a Hall of Fame finalist. They are in the thick of the postseason race. And earlier today, C.J. Stroud officially cleared concussion protocol. He has not been named officially the starter for Sunday's game. He spoke to Houston media today, saying he's just happy to be back and excited to be able to do his job again. His return couldn't possibly be more timely. If the Texans win these last 2 games, they will make the postseason, and they still have a shot to win the division. We got all this talk about the Texas Bowl, the Houston Texans, but what about the Texas Longhorns? They touch down in New Orleans as they get ready for the Sugar Bowl. That game just days away, January 1st to be exact. Some Crossroads stars on that team. You've got Jonathan Brooks out of Hallettsville. You see him right there with his knee brace on, and you've got Jordan Whittington out of Cuero. Texas has been telling folks they've been back for a while. Is this their year? Now here in the Crossroads, 2 of our area teams going at it. You had the St. Joseph Flyers, who swept their doubleheader yesterday, taking on Tidehaven earlier this morning. The winning streak does come to an end for the Lady Flyers. The girls from El Mayton took the dub and took first place in that tournament. For St. Joe, Maddie Stefka and Bella Micas led the way with 12 points apiece. For Tidehaven, Micah Riddick put up 22 points in the win. Destiny Atkins also had 16 points. And the girls got right back at it. However, they took on Louise, got the win 52-18. AC Miori joined in on the double-digit score. She put up 13. Louise's Madison Grant did a lot of heavy lifting, putting up 11 of the 18 for the Lady Hornets. In the Victoria Classic tournament, the West Warriors taking on the Cole Cougars. First place on the line. West leading by 3 with time winding down. Cole hoists the 3, banked home, plus the foul. The Cougars with a chance at a 4-point play in the lead with 7 seconds remaining, but it rims out. So the Warriors, 2 seconds remaining, trying to draw up some magic. They're going to get it in cleanly. A back cut, great pass, layup at the horn. The Warriors beat the tough Cole Cougars 59-57 to take first place in the Victoria Classic. The aftermath of that basket, this celebration. The boys get that first place trophy. Bo Woods takes home the Victoria Tournament MVP honors. Sean Metter got the all-tourney honors. What a game. And we had the Bloomington Bobcats. They took down the Refugio Bobcats 52-34, but Refugio did beat Palacios Keelan Brown 41 points in that game. That's it for your sports. Don, back to you.
All right, Zach, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, people in New York City are celebrating getting rid of 2023 and their unofficial holiday. There's Festivus for the rest of us, and then there's Good Riddance Day. It's an unofficial holiday in New York City. To celebrate, crowds gathered in Times Square to write down everything that went wrong in 2023. In the past, shredders and dumpsters were used to make the past go away. This year, a magician lit pieces of paper on fire. Poof. Even the naked cowboy showed up. People of all walks of life united in making the past disappear. Wild monkeys that visited a zoo in southwestern Japan got a warm gift: space heaters. Troops of monkeys that live near the Natural Zoological Garden are given food by caretakers at the facility. Every winter, they have another reason to come to the zoo to stay warm during cold weather. The zoo plans to have the heater out for the monkeys until March. And speaking of space heaters, now I mentioned some of the rules of thumb to keep safe if you have to use a space heater or a portable generator, so please follow those rules. I mean, it's going to be a cold night, a chilly night, and just, be careful out there.
I mean, if you're going to, to sleep, just throw a couple extra blankets on. That helps. But yeah, the heaters are good, but you be very much on the safe side. For sure, because here's what we're dealing with. We get this tonight and tomorrow, our chilliest nights of the season so far. Some of these spots could drop down into the 31, 32 degree range. That's freezing. So won't last very long, but hey, we're probably going to get there. This evening will be in the 40s, and then for tomorrow, or overnight, 36 degrees, and then for tomorrow, back up to 61. Lots of sun. Looking ahead, New Year's Eve day, 74 degrees, and then another cool down with rain next year, Don.
Thank you, Howie. Finally tonight, Arizona Zoo got a special gift on Christmas Day. A baby greavy zebra was born. Reed Park Zoo in Tucson says both the mama, Anna, and her foal are doing well. And the baby girl was steady on her feet and nursing shortly after birth. Staff will be monitoring the pair closely in the coming weeks. The greavy zebra is the largest and most endangered species of zebra. Fewer than 2,000 remain in Africa today. Welcome to the planet. All right, and thanks so much for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Join Carolina Astroin, meteorologist Parker Cox for 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.